Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are in the world. Thank you for joining me and welcome to A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love. I'm Tomas Garza, your host, and I'm always really delighted to come live with you all every day. I really look forward to this time because there's so much wisdom and joy and so much good that comes from any spiritual practice that we do together. And that's especially true of A Course in Miracles. So I very much appreciate all of you that tune in to the live stream, all of you that catch the replay, all of the likes, the hearts, the comments, the shares. Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of this journey. Well, because spirituality is a journey. Yeah. It's not just a one-off deal where we sit down for 15 minutes and have a blinding flash, although that may happen, right? I mean, maybe it's happened to you. It's a constant process, and there's so much that's fun in it. And it can be a challenge sometimes to have a sense of humor about it because we really want to do it right and do it correctly and have all of this progress. But moment to moment, it really is about how we show up. It's how we carry ourselves, how we bring loving energy to the party, so to speak. It's how we show up joyfully and what we're showing to other people because we're teaching. Every moment of every day, we're teaching. Yes, I'm a spiritual teacher. I hold myself out as such, and you may not. You may hold yourself out, though, as teaching in another capacity, maybe in a school or a university environment. Maybe you are an entrepreneur and a trainer. I don't know. Whatever that looks like for you, whether we actually hold ourselves out as teachers or as professors, trainers, we're always teaching other people because we're always showing up in the world and we're always radiating something. There's always some energy that people are picking up on. Yeah, whether we want them to or not, they're picking up on it. So the question for us then becomes, what energy are we sending out into the world? In other words, it's actually quite simple when we look at it is, are we showing up as love or are we showing up as fear? It's one of the two. And what we're showing up as, we extend and we're teaching, and people are learning. And it's a two-way street because we're also learning from other people. Think about it as children, we learn from our parents, we learn from adults, we learn from society. In certain situations, we see what behaviors people adopt. And that might be really good, or it might be really terrible. So that's a lesson that we learn, that someone is teaching us whether they hold themselves out as a teacher or not. Now, if you're a parent, you'll know that you're always a teacher. That role simply is what it is, and it never goes away. But we're all both teaching and learning. So it's very important for us as students of spirituality, as spiritual practitioners, to bear this in mind and to do our level best at all times to show up as love. That's really what this is all about. And any spiritual practice will lead us to this. It will help us to show up in this capacity in the world because we may think we're here for all kinds of different purposes. I mean, maybe it has something to do with your job or career or relationship, but what we're here to do is to extend love and to learn the lessons of love. We're awakening to the truth of who we really are. So we're in fact here to extend love. In the last few exercises, well, the ideas from the workbook for students, we've looked at what our function is. And according to the thought system of A Course in Miracles, our function is forgiveness. We've looked a little bit at what that involves and how the Course in Miracles presents forgiveness differently than we often think of it in the world, which is a good thing, by the way. It's a very good thing indeed, because in the world, we don't really know what it is. We hold things over each other's head. And if someone's holding something over our head because we transgressed them or we made them angry or something, then we can often feel, well, badly. Insert another word for badly, another two words. You know where I'm going. We feel like sometimes, yeah, in the world. And, it's forgiveness is not like that. And A Course in Miracles teaches us what it really is. And that is really a wonderful, wonderful, practical thing that it's up to us to put into practice. I mean, someone is either extending love or they're putting out a call for love. And the appropriate response to someone that's crying out is to extend love. Because that's what it is. When someone behaves badly, it doesn't mean necessarily that they intended to do that. No, maybe they did. Maybe they did. But often they don't. And often someone's just acting out their own habitual tendencies, which we do as well. They're acting out their own conditioning. And often they're really not aware of what they're doing. Yeah, it's very interesting as spiritual practitioners for us to think about how often we're actually aware, mindful, if you prefer, of what we're doing and how we're showing up in the world. It might be less than we think, which is very sobering and should be. It should be, because this is why it's a process, because these habitual tendencies just kind of tend to stick around. However, with practice, with dedication, with devotion, with practice, we become more attenuated to the truth of what is and who we really are. And that's what we're here to do. And that's what this workbook is for. And we're on lesson 85 today. So let's jump into it because we're dealing with a couple of very, very powerhouse spiritual ideas. And if you are not a student of A Course in Miracles, I want to welcome you to this live stream. You're absolutely where you're meant to be right now, because these ideas apply to any form of spirituality at all. They're completely universal. And if you choose to apply them, you will see the benefit. Absolutely. But first, of course, it's up to you to choose to apply it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's one of the lessons for today that we absolutely can't escape. And as you'll see, it's a beautiful thing that we can't. So lesson 85 reviews two lessons. One is lesson 69, the next 70. And lesson 69 is my grievances hide the light of the world in me. Okay, so yesterday we looked at the truth, that love holds no grievances. God, love, holds no grievances. It can't. He, she, it, they can't. It's not possible. It's not possible because grievances are something of the ego, where we see ourselves as separate from someone else and therefore hold grudges against them. They do the same to us if they're choosing fear, if they're choosing to see things according to the ego, which is pretty much our habitual tendency in the world, isn't it? We're unlearning that in spiritual practice. So our grievances hide the light of the world, which is who we are, in fact. It's us. If we're harboring grudges and grievances, we cannot, by definition, be loving. I mean, think about it. Can you act lovingly towards somebody at the same time as you're condemning them? Let's say you're treating someone to a profanity-laced tirade, for example. We've all been there. Can you, at the same time, be forgiving and loving while you're cursing someone out? No, not really. Not really when you think about it. Now, we like to think that we're capable of being extraordinarily multifaceted and complicated. I mean, do you tell yourself, oh, I'm complicated? All right, you don't have to identify yourselves on this live stream, but there are people out there that say, "Ooh, I'm complicated. I can do a bunch of things at once. I can be both loving and really vindictive at the same time." No, you can't. It's not possible. It's not possible. Our experiences are not being, it's not that we're loving and vindictive or in a rage at the same time. That's not possible. We may like to think that's possible. It's not. What we have are a series of moments. One moment we may be loving, the next minute we could be in a fit of rage. We could treat someone to a profanity-laced tirade. We could feel depressed, right? We could turn that energy, that attack energy, inwardly on ourselves and beat ourselves up, yeah? We're our own worst critic. I think that's pretty much universal. That's what's happening there, is we're turning an attack thought in on ourselves. Now, an attack thought is not a loving thought. That doesn't have to be a physical attack either. That's not what we're talking about necessarily. It could take that form, but doesn't have to take that form. You don't have to physically harm yourself to deeply harm and abuse yourself, as we all know. We do it inside. And some of us do it more often than others. So our grievances hide who we really are, because we can't be both loving and hateful at the same time. So the more we choose love, the less we experience hate. Now, that makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, every moment of every day, if we're choosing love, the vast majority of the time, we're going to have a vastly different experience, aren't we? We're going to experience the world in a different light. It's going to be more loving. Our experience is going to be more loving. We will feel lighter. People will respond to us differently. If we're extending love, people will smile at us, whereas before they may have frowned at us or at best wished to get away from us, right? We're always teaching. What are we teaching? All right, our grievances absolutely, unequivocally hide the light of the world in us. Now here's lesson 70, which I really love. My salvation comes from me. Yeah, my salvation comes from me. It's said in Buddhism, especially in some forms of Tibetan Buddhism, that Buddhas or enlightened masters cannot wash away all of our bad karma for us. They don't scrub us with a scrub brush and wash away everything bad that we've ever done. It doesn't work that way. We're responsible for our own salvation. That's an example from various Buddhist traditions, but this applies to all spirituality. In other words, everyone. Our salvation comes from us. It does not come from something external. Now, even if you were taught that it comes from something external, it doesn't. And by the way, a figure such as Buddha or Jesus is not external. So just saying, not external. There's nothing but oneness. Our salvation comes from us. So what does that mean? Well, we've talked about it a little bit right here today. Every moment of every day, we have a choice between love or fear. The more we choose love, the more we're moving toward our own salvation. Now, salvation, you may have a different meaning of this. If you want to think of salvation as our own awakening, okay, our own enlightenment, liberation, use whatever word you're comfortable with here. The Course in Miracles workbook here uses the word salvation. That's what the Course uses. And that's what it's referring to, is our awakening to love, if you prefer. Yeah, like the subtitle of this live. It comes from us. It's not to be found in external objects. It's not to be found in bright new, beautiful cars. Now, I'm laughing because Cindy, my wife, and I just went out yesterday afternoon and bought a brand new car. So there's literally a brand new car with 13 miles on it, sitting just a few feet away here. So yeah, just a few meters away in our driveway. Yeah. But is that salvation? No, we needed it. Most definitely. But it's not salvation. It's not going to make us more loving. Is it? A car's not going to make you more loving. A new shirt is not going to make you more loving. You could don a new shirt and attack people left and right. You could, right? It doesn't make you more loving. It doesn't lead to your salvation. You know, these things are nice to have in the world, but our salvation doesn't come from them. It comes from us. My salvation comes from me. It is internal and it is completely an inside job. Why? Because we have never been stripped of our free will. This is exciting. This should be very liberating to all of you. We have our free will, and cannot we cannot actually give that away. We could choose to hide from it, but guess what? That's our choice. We're not ever forced to do anything. God doesn't force us to see things the way he does. We have to choose it. And you know what's even more important than that is we get to choose it. We get to because our free will has not been stripped of us. This is beautiful in the world because we get to choose again and again. There's tremendous power in that. And rather than saying you have to choose, I strongly, strongly suggest, as do a lot of people, that you use the language get to. It's a beautiful thing to have this free will. Our salvation comes from us. So, as you might imagine, spirituality is about owning that. It's about stepping up, really. It is. We have been playing for countless lifetimes small. We have been, each of us. Each of us has been playing small. We have chosen to seek our salvation, our happiness, enlightenment, awakening in other things, in outside objects, or in other people, right? Another person's not going to wipe away all of the work that you need to do for you. It doesn't work that way. They've got to wipe away their own stuff. So if you have a human teacher, they're not going to wave a magic wand and have you be enlightened. You've got to do the work. And the fun part is that you get to have this experience, and it's empowering. It's empowering to accept this idea, because that does mean, yes, that, well, all right, we're here in this world where we appear to be suffering. Okay, we made that. So we made the problem. Guess what that means? We can also make the solution. We can choose yet again. We can choose love yet again. And at the end of the text of A Course in Miracles, the very last section is entitled Choose Yet Again. Because you reach the end of something like the workbook or the manual for teachers, could be the text, and you realize, okay, well, it's the beginning. It's not the end, because this is a lifelong journey. It's a lifelong journey. And along the way, we discover how full of beauty and wonder and joy it really is. It is a joyous thing to take responsibility for your own salvation. If you don't, you're playing a victim. And that's not the way that we're designed to operate. That's not the way it has to be. It's not that we've been placed here by a vindictive, evil God in this situation where we're bodies and we appear to be suffering, and then, we last 75, 80 years if we're lucky, and then we die. No, that's not a very exciting way of looking at life, and it's not accurate either, luckily. So if that doesn't resonate with you, good, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be the way that a lot of people make it in the world. It's full of joy and wonder, and it's tremendously empowering to take an idea like this to heart and live it. That's what spirituality is all about. It's about experience. It's not about believing one thing or another. It's about experiencing the truth of who we really are. So this is it's really quite wonderful And I encourage you to just sit with this concept that spirituality is all about taking responsibility, showing up every moment of every day as love, as often as you remember to do it. And you know what? If you forget, so what? It's totally okay because we all do. We just choose love the very next moment. That's it. It's like a living, waking, walking, breathing meditation. Say, love is the object of meditation. It is the sound, it's the mantra, it's the breath, it's the singing bowls. It's love is the object of a lifelong meditation. And when we recognize that we've diverted from that and deviated from that path, just bring our attention back to it without judging ourselves. Yeah, I know it's tempting. Yeah, but just consider it a lifelong meditation practice. Not that you have to do, but that you get to do. It's not checking off boxes. It's joyous. It's a living, breathing, wondrous experience. And love is the object of meditation in that case. Now, ultimately, of course, love is abstract. God is love. So it's beyond all concepts. It's not an object. It's not a thing. However, in the world where we believe in things and we're running around thinking we're a thing and we appear to be a thing called a body, a human being, man, woman, right, middle-aged, gray hair, right? Whatever we think we really are in the world, it's not as it seems. We really are love, and we're awakening to that fact, to the truth of that every moment of every day. All right, so I've said a lot here, but there really is so much to Lesson 70 that I can't recommend enough that you go back and just consider this idea for yourself. That's what the workbook is really all about. So hello, everyone that's tuning in. Thank you so much. Let's take a few minutes and I'll read some of your comments here. I really appreciate your joining me. The Hope, hi, how are you? Thank you for tuning in. Christina, hello. John, hi, how are you? Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And Aurora, yes, okay, me encantaría poder, hablo español también, entender lo que está diciendo. All right, well, Aurora would like to understand what I'm saying. Okay, Aurora, si usted está mirándome ahora, voy a enviar un mensaje en español, okay? I'm going to send a message in Spanish. So if you are also a Spanish speaker, then please let me know that. I speak, well, I can do this in French, Spanish, and English. So yeah, thank you for joining me. John, hi, how are you? Yeah, lots of connections here. Yes, John, I'm reading your message, and yeah, a lot of the connections. What I get out of this is we're all connected. Isn't that beautiful? It's just beautiful how interconnected we really are, and how spirituality is about our realizing that and having that living, breathing experience. So thank you for that comment. I love that. I love the emphasis on being connected. And well, all right. So thank you guys for tuning in here. Yeah, it's always fun to take a look at your comments live. Now, I will say, if you're catching this on the replay, feel welcome to reach out to me and comment. I am happy to respond to this. I do check these periodically throughout the day. So I'm in Arizona in the United States, so it's a little after 9 o'clock in the morning here. I tend to do most of these live streams in the morning, so I'll have all day to take a look at your comments. And I really hope that you're having a great day and a beautiful Sunday here. Whatever it is that you're doing, I hope that you're having fun. And well, if you're relaxing, I hope it's good, solid relaxation. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you again here tomorrow on A Course in Miracles 365. Have a great day, everybody.